How do you like the flood? The power of the nature, powerful, disastrous. It's pretty scary even in the time we are living right now. Although we have the technology, tools, and other bunches of stuff to fight it, it's still very irresistible. Just imagine you are in thousands of years ago, you face this situation. What will you do? I don't know you guys, but I will run away immediately. In China, we have a saying which goes 水能载舟，也能覆舟. It means that water can help the boat to move forward. It can also overturn the boat. Everything has two sides. In order to master it, we need to know how to cope with it in the worst situation. For the people living in the ancient time, at first, they only knew that water was their friend. They could drink it, wash clothes, took a shower, etc. They didn't know the other side of it. It always showed itself in such a gentle way. But one day it lost its temper. Water started attacking people, destroyed houses, flooded farmland. A lot of people were dead, or at least they lost their home. The flood happened in the transition from Diyao to Shun. Do you guys know them? If you don't know, just go to my channel to watch the second part of Three Sovereigns and the Five Emperors. There are two emperors. Anyway, Di Yao was the fourth emperor among three sovereigns and the five emperors. Shun was the fifth emperor. Flood-wise, some people think it was from the Yangtze River. Others think it was from the Yellow River. Let's just say it came from the mother rivers of China. The flood occurred when Di Yao was old. He chose a guy named Gun to save the people. His name is very strange, even for Chinese. The meaning of Gun is fish. So I guess that's the reason why the responsibility was on him. Di Yao made a decision based on name. That was a poor decision, by the way. We will get to that right now. People were very superstitious, especially for the rulers. At this point, war had ended for a long time. The flood was the only threat. So they held a lot of ceremonies to ask help from the god. In the ceremony, Gun claimed that he found the magical soil which could develop by itself, and people believed that was the gift from the god. Of course, they were going to use that to fight the flood. Gun gathered a lot of strong guys and ordered them to use the soil to build dams. For this method, either the water you want to block is not very strong, or the dam is solid and high enough. Then I will do the trick. However, in this example, it was neither of them. Soon, the dams couldn't stand the impact of the flood. This time, when the flood came, it came harder. More people suffered. But Gun didn't give up. That's a good thing. Specifically, he didn't give up his method. That's a bad thing, though. He kept leading people building dams everywhere. Eventually, the flood prevailed. After 9 years fighting the water, the crown was passed from Di Yao to Shun, who was the fifth emperor among five emperors. This time, Gun's chance ran out. Shun had enough. He exiled Gun to an isolated mountain. Gun ended up dying there. The punishment was completed. The war was still ongoing. Shun appointed Yu, who was Gun's son, to combat the flood. Attention, please. The leading character comes. Yu was not only the hero beating the flood, he was also the founder of Chinese first dynasty. A little spoiler. Water was not unfamiliar to him. He was a second hand when his dad took charge of it. He learned from the earlier experience. He knew that humans' strength was limited facing the power of the nature. Instead, he decided to go with the flow. He didn't try to keep the water from going to people's home. Instead, he made an offer to the water.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Along the water channel, he led people to dig more lanes to give water more options. Obviously, that was a more effective strategy. It got rid of the mud at the bottom of the river. Water flow was much smoother. More channels diverted water to other places, and the amount of water flowing into the traps was reduced to a controllable level. Just like that, he went to all the suffering traps to dig more lanes to sort out the problem. For flats, they didn't cause too much trouble, but mountain was a different story. At first, he thought about ignoring the mountains, but that was impractical because the mountains blocked the water. Then the water had no place to go but flooding the habitats. No matter how many new lanes he had dug on the flats, the problem still existed unless the source was fixed. Therefore, he knew he must fix it. He took the measuring tool to all the mountains he could find. Finally, he made a list of around 11 mountains which needed trimming. When he first brought it up to his people, they thought that was mission impossible. Now we know everything has first time, as long as we are willing to try. But back then, how can we crack the mountains? This thought was in everyone's mind. In order to show it worked, this time, he joined the labor. He worked wisdom, ate wisdom, slept wisdom. That was a huge boost. Finally, the unity won. With more water channels, the flood was tamed. It became the gentle friend again. This was a tough task. It took him 13 years to win this war. And the people who can accomplish things like this must sacrifice a lot. It also held true for him. During his journey, he passed his own house 3 times. He didn't go inside to see his family once. In Chinese, we call it 三过家门而不入. So you can tell how much he sacrificed. For many young kids in China, maybe they don't know the flood war, but they all know this story about him passing home, not going inside. So you see how influential his behavior is. After the huge victory, his prestige reached the top. That built a solid foundation for him to succeed to the throne and establish the first dynasty later. The flood control led by Yu played an important role in the development of Chinese civilization. In this war, he relied on hard work, scientific way, and people-oriented approach to achieve success. He also prioritized the people's lives. He was appointed by the emperor who exiled his father due to his incompetence. Man, this was sad. He could have screwed up the whole flood thing to avenge his dad, but he didn't. A real saint. Okay, the story of Yu taming the flood is over, but the story of Yu isn't. Thank you for watching. If you are interested, stay tuned. See you next time. Cheers.